I'm Laura, and I want to welcome you to Adventures in Creating, the place where I take you on an adventure to create something hopefully awesome. Today is a special day because you are joining me for the bonus content to make your dining set, your way you serve your food, a little bit nicer, a little bit fancier. So without further ado, we are going to jump into it where I'm going to show you how to prepare your napkins, how to set out your tablecloth if you're using one, how to set out your plate and forks and knives if you're going to be using all those, hopefully. But hey, maybe you're having a finger food Thanksgiving or other celebration. That's fine. No judgment here. So we are going to take a look at how to make you prepared so that when you present your meal, even if it's just to yourself, you can feel special. So without further ado, let's get started looking at how to dress up our place settings. We're going to get started with getting our place settings prepared. Something that is a nice, easy thing to do is when you have a stack of napkins, whether people are grabbing finger food, snacks, or their main course, is to spiral them out. There are two ways that I know how to do this. One is you take some of your napkins and you make a fist, and you're going to put a little pressure and turn. We just fist, turn, pressure, turn, pressure, turn. And we do this a few times. The idea is that we're slowly creating the whole stack to rotate. Now this top napkin, and I apologize, it's not the clearest to see here, but it is a little crumpled. So I'm going to take that one off and turn this over, use my crumpled napkin, and do the same thing down here. Make a fist, and just slowly try to turn your stack. Then, without too much trouble, and just discard that top one, you have a whole stack of fanned out, twirled out napkins. Woo! Good job. I'm sure your guests will be impressed. Now, we're going to do the next section. We are going to now take our next section of them, and you are basically going to twist this around your arm. So you start here at your wrist, and you bend the napkins over, then you swirl it around your arm, and you do that again, and you're basically just rotating the napkins around your wrist, letting your wrist do the work. And it creates this beautiful swirl of napkins to add to your pile. Two ways to fan out your napkins so that you have this fancy looking stack. Yay! Your family and friends will be impressed. Moving on to our next tip. Next tip is, how on earth are we going to set the table? So you have your plate, you have your bowl, or if you're not using the bowl, just get rid of it. The bowl's going to sit on your plate otherwise. But if you're not using it, great. Move it off to the side. Now, what do? You have this nice plate. Oh no, how shall we decorate this? I'm actually going to move a few of these other things out of the way. Now, back with our plate. You are going to first take your napkin. Say you don't want to do the whole spiral thing that I just showed you. That's okay. Take your napkin. Simple fold in half will suffice. Or, if you'd rather it look more triangular, of course, do the triangle. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you prefer. We'll go over a few other ways you can put out your napkin in just a few minutes. Place that here on that is, I believe, the right-hand side of the plate. I get mixed up with my hands. But that is where it should be if you're looking at it. Now, your biggest fork should be closest to the plate. If you are doing two forks, such as a salad fork and then your main course fork, that is how you want to do. The general rule of thumb is you work your way with your silverware out, in. If you are just doing one fork, as many of us just typically have, then it just sits on the napkin. If you don't like how that looks, of course you can put your napkin on your plate, especially if you have something like a napkin ring that can fold on there, or if you're putting place markers for where people sit. That is also fine. But traditionally, you have your fork there, your main course fork, and your salad or other forks that you are using there. Next then, we go with our knife, blade facing in towards the plate, and you have your spoon. also next to the knife. Reason it's on the outside is if you have soup, odds are you will have that before your main course. So the soup spoon goes on the outside. Now we take our cup, whatever cup you're using, and you place it either upside down or upright, depending on your preference. You place that above the knife. Idea is that it's not in the way that you're going to bump it with your hands for the salad fork or the soup spoon, but you are able to then easily get it and have it readily accessible. So that is how, and I'll slide this down so you can see the cup. That is how we do a standard basic plate setup if you want to do something that's going to look a little bit nicer. But let's say you want to go ahead, take this up to one more level. We are going to move our plate out of the way and focus on our cup. I'm using a goblet. This is the one that I think works best for different types of napkin folds sitting inside. You can of course use a different cup. You just may have to finagle it to get the napkins to balance. Stay tuned as we get onto our napkin. Cloth napkin time is coming up. Hopefully yours is not stained and gross like mine is. Trust me, it's clean, it's just stained. So what we're going to do is we are folding it in half and voila, fold it in half long ways. Now we are just going to fold a little section, maybe about an inch, maybe a little bit less, over, and then under, then over, then under, over, and under one more time. Why did we do this? Well, because we are going to then, I will show you in a moment, fold up then the bottom section just a little bit, and you put this right into your cup, and it fans out. If your cup is a little more on the shallow side, it will fold up a little bit better. But this is one way to do it. You can, of course, change this up, and we will do a different fold. For this next section, I grabbed a shallower cup because you'll be able to see what we're doing a little bit better. And we keep our napkin whole. And similarly, we do the over, under folds as we just did for your standard fanned out napkin in a cup. This works best with cloth napkins. Of course, you could get creative and try and make it work with your disposable napkins, but it might be a little interesting. And just keep trying to keep those folds together, not spill them all over like I just did. Aha! Now we have a very big fan. Fold that in half, put that into your goblet, and ta-da! Beautiful fanned out goblet with the napkin. Now you can feel proud of serving that. We are going to move on to another napkin fold that I think looks beautiful. I'm taking now a slightly larger napkin. You can do it with the smaller ones, but a larger one will be easier. And you're going to fold it in half and then fold it in half again. We want the two folds there as best as we can. And you're going to fan this just like you have been doing. So over, under, over, under, over, under, over, and under. It's a little snug. That's okay. We have a tight fold here. We take our cup and we are going to unravel this slightly. We want this to make sort of a star shape, sort of a flower-esque type shape. All right, now what we're going to do is peel down the edges just ever so slightly. Separate the folded part, the lined part. Reason we are doing this is going to create sort of something that looks a little bit like a rose. No, it is not a perfect rose. Obviously, it is cloth. It's a napkin, but that's all right. And this just is an even fancier setup for the napkins. And there you go. You can see it just looks like a decorative flower. And this is one way to really spruce up any dinner setting. You might just have disposable items. You put napkins in a fancy fold like this, it looks amazing. Now I'm going to move on to the simplest napkin fold in your goblet. That is great because I think it still looks awesome and it's super simple. I have my two goblets, I have my two napkins. What am I going to do? I take my napkin and I just grab it in the center and shake it out and stuff that right on in. Ta-da! Napkin holder number one. Same thing, I'm using my slightly larger napkin just because my other goblet is a bit bigger. And just so you can see, it's whole. I grab it, I try to find the middle, sort of smush it down, Put it right on into the goblet. Ta-da! You have 2 goblets ready to go for your guests. Let's say you don't like the napkin in the cup idea, so simply take it out. Make a triangle, and we are just going to roll this in. We're going to make a roll from the corner, and this will be a long roll. That is okay, that is what we want. We have this very long, thin shape, and cross it over. You can easily put a napkin ring, or you can leave it as is. That can sit there, and your plate is ready to go. Someone can grab their napkin and be happy with the design. Similarly, you could just also fold it over and then give it a couple more twists. There's another design for having a napkin on the plate. Very simple. Just took me a few seconds to do here. You can do it also. No tablecloth? No problem. Grab a sheet from your own collection in your bedroom. Spread that out on the tablecloth. I apologize if I step in front of the camera. It's not intentional, just trying to spread this out. How do we spread this out? Pretty simply, gonna step in front. Probably I'll edit that out. We'll see. Anyways, you just want to spread this out so it is even. You want, basically the way to spread out a tablecloth is you want it to be even on all the sides as best as you can. So whether that is a lot hanging down on the front and back so that they match, or just a little bit, that is okay, as long as it is even. You want it to be perfectly matched. And this is a little dark, so I'm gonna stop here and see if I can get some more light. I think that's a little bit better now that we have a little bit more light. Now, if you have especially a smaller table and you want to dress up the tablecloth, or you happen to have multiple sheets you want to use, you can do something which is called pleating, where very simply what that is folding over the tablecloth in little sections to create these lovely little pleats. And you can see we just have one fold here. So this will shorten significantly the tablecloth length. So just be aware of that. But as you can see, as I pull over a few more sections and you shake them out so that they line up, of course you could always iron your tablecloth or sheets, unlike me who has things wrinkled, but you can see a pleat is starting to form. You could do this across the entire tablecloth, or of course you could do this on just a section of it. And if you want to go the other way, similarly, you just grab a section and pull, bringing that up. So you can start to see nice pleats as they form. This is just another way that you could dress up the table setting that you have, the tablecloth, the sheet, whatever you have, whatever's going to make you feel good about presenting to your family, to your friends, to yourself. Remember, be good to yourself, be kind to yourself. And those are my tips on how to have a fancier dinner. Oh wait, let me show you the finished product. Here you can see some of the things we went over. You have your cup placed above the knife with your lovely rose or whichever fold you preferred for your napkin. You have your swirled out napkins ready for appetizer or hors d'oeuvres, or just looking pretty as extra napkins on hand. Some of us are messy eaters. You have your salad fork, your main course fork, your soup spoon, your knife, and your plate. Also, of course, you could always have the napkin on the plate, the napkin not in the cup, but under the fork. You could have it with a napkin holder to put if you want to do a roll there. Feel free to also add a place setting, like a little card that has someone's name or conversation starter pieces, and your table will already look so much nicer. And this is also with our pleated tablecloth to give you an extra air of sophistication. Thanks so much for watching. Happy Thanksgiving and other holidays you might celebrate. Did you have fun? Did you go on an adventure? I hope you did. I hope you enjoyed this bonus video of a way to dress up your place setting, whether it is how to set out your forks and knives and plates and spoons, or how to swirl your napkins so they look like they're ready for a party. Even if it's just a party of one. No shame in that, especially with how our times are right now. But I hope you enjoyed, whether you're preparing for Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's or a birthday party or whatever you're doing, but that you were able to dress up how you serve your meals. I would be so excited to hear how exactly you did that. So please drop me a comment below. Also leave a like or dislike. And let's continue this conversation. Join me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. See what I'm up to, because there's lots of things that I do. I look forward to our next video together, and I'm sure it's going to be great. Share this one out. Let your friends know how they can make their place settings also fancy, just like you, just like me. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!